Alright, this is day number 240 of my accountability to myself, and I appreciate everyone's attention who watches this, and this is my final video. I won't be uploading anything tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, next week, next month, nothing. This is the last video, and in this video I would like to mention probably about something the most important I realized over those 240 days, even though it would be pretty hard to compress everything in one video because a lot of different thoughts I cannot remember about everything, and I cannot keep everything in my mind. But there's something the most important. By the way, I remember I put something in my notes that I wanted to mention. Let me check to make sure I will not forget it. I don't know where's that though. So it was something about questions, definitely. Yeah, I think I found it. So basically the first thing that I want to mention is the importance of mindset. There is nothing that could be more important in this life than your mindset. Why? Because everything is based on how you perceive this world. First, there are your thoughts. Your thoughts shape the way you think about, like literally things you think about, what comes to your mind when you see something, what you associate it with. Are your thoughts. Upon your thoughts, you act in a certain way. The way you are acting upon your thoughts shapes who you are as a person. What do you do as a person? And what kind of consequences you encounter as that person. And the best thing is that we can change the way of thinking. It just requires effort. We can do this because of neuroplasticity. Because due to neuroplasticity, our brain can recognize its patterns and change them by conscious effort, learning, or whatever makes this change. You need just some conscious effort, and then you can change the way you view this world, because there's no objective reality. That's also very important to realize. There's no objective reality. Every person sees this world differently, in a unique way, because you see this way as a result of all your past experiences. If you've never experienced a certain situation, obviously you will be nervous trying for the first time. If you're not used to take a stage, of course you will be scared to take that stage. And here's also an important mindset shift. If you are scared or something, that is something that you need to do, because this is a point of growth. You're scared because you have not investigated that area yet. You did not explore it. You don't know what is this, and that's why your brain perceives it as something that potentially increases your probability to die. Because if you always operate in the same environment, your brain can predict some patterns, predict what's going on in your quotidien. It means in French, daily basis, I don't know, daily stuff, right? Your brain can predict it, and that's why you shape this comfort zone that you don't want to leave. But this is the biggest mistake. And so, two very important mindset shifts. First, you need to pursue what you are scared of, because this is a point of growth. Second, if you have some disadvantages, this is an advantage to become even stronger. Because if there's another person who doesn't have that disadvantage that you have, that the person will never toughen himself up to that extent to which you can do this. So just try to work on your mindset, on the way you pursue things, and always ask questions yourself. Why do I think this way? Who told me that it works specifically this way? How did I find out that it works that way? Why do I have this mindset? Is there another potential perspective? Is there a way to reframe it differently? Even if it sounds ridiculous, try to think ridiculously. Try, if there's a bad situation, how can we make this situation even worse? And then that worst situation, what could make it the opposite way, like ideal? Sometimes it works. So you should never think that, oh, I'm doomed to be who I am. I'm doomed to think the way I think. No, but it also requires time. And another mind shift, very important, if it was so easy, everyone would do this. This is just a golden rule. If it was so easy, everyone would do this. That's why when people start learning languages, they abandon languages. I will mention today in the end of the video about Turkish, because I keep studying Turkish, even though I low-key have desire to abandon, but I will mention about it later. That's why people, they don't really want to become great at skills because it takes a lot of effort. They don't really want to become, they want to, but they cannot become great at something because it takes time, it takes effort. But your brain wants instant gratification, and that's a big problem. Because another thing that you should realize, that when you prefer, for example, learning a skill instead of hanging out with your friends, like kind of friends, if you spend every night, I don't know, doing parties, like it depends what kind of friends. If I won't forget, I will mention about friends as well. So, because when you choose something that should bring you result in the long term, you know that you sacrifice 100% parties or whatever brings you dopamine, scrolling, all right, the most ubiquitous issue, scrolling. You know how, like, your brain realizes 100%, I give up now this instant gratification in order to try to do something that does not bring me that much dopamine, and I'm not sure that it will work out. That's why it's harder to start doing that. And when you have all of those realizations, it's way easier to act, because you understand how your brain works and you can hold power over your brain, roughly speaking, right? About friends, one also of the most important things that I realized, people who surround you, they set a baseline, what is acceptable, what is normal. And it's so dangerous, because even when you think, oh, I don't want to abandon my friends, even though they're doing drugs or they're constantly playing games, stuff like that, well, you don't really need to abandon them, but you need to reduce communication to very, very little. How it worked in my case. In my case, I still have my friends. Like, I do like spending time with them. Well, nowadays it's hard because we live in different countries, but when we can come to the same place, we would skateboard, do this and that. But then in the meantime, I noticed that they are inclined to scroll always, to talk about games. And if you think, oh, all right, I don't talk with them about the games, I don't scroll, it sets you a baseline. It says that, oh, all right, I need to grind, and there are people, there's like what's normal nowadays for people, and that's why you don't really pursue for something way higher, way higher above that line. You know what I mean? Because for me, it's just mind-blowing when I think about people who started earning money at 16 years old, thousands of euros, sometimes dozens of thousands of euros. Then they passed IELTS English test, IELTS English exam 8.0. They have gotten a grant in Boston and they study in Boston, having grants, having great opportunities. Like, competition is growing every day. And you need to realize it. You need to think about right things. Because people who surround you, they make you think also in a certain way. They also shape your thinking, the way you think, the way you perceive, also you perceive yourself. And if they always talk about if they complain, if it's gossiping, whatever negative, it makes you think the same way. And the biggest problem that when they make you think the same way, you cannot attract another higher level of people, level of people. Well, it might sound arrogant, higher level of people, but objectively, when there's type of people who talk about concepts, about ideas, about high value topics that require some brain and that require some knowledge, they're a little they have some more value than people who do just gossiping, drink, all that stuff. Like, this is different level of people objectively. This is like, all right, this is different level of people objectively if you aim for something more. If you don't aim for something more, well, you don't need that level of people, obviously. But if you're talking about striving for more, and sometimes it's better to eliminate those friends. Not like eliminate, like block them and never communicate again. No, just put your phone on do not disturb. When they ask you to join them playing a game or doing whatever stuff they do, just wasting time, either don't reply if you don't see this message, and most likely you shouldn't see this because your phone is on do not disturb. Second, you can say, well, I can't. I study, I learn. You don't even need to explain. Another thing that you should remember, your time belongs to you. And you're not supposed to explain to others why your time belongs to you. It's your time, your most important asset, most precious asset you've got in this life, your time. So make sure that you don't have people who drag you down. For a while, for a long while, you might be without kind friends or something, but it's alright as long as you keep on improving yourself, because sooner or later you will attract those people. To understand what do I mean attract, you can learn about law of attraction. It's a great thing. There's a great book, The Secret, that explains it, how just your thinking attracts things to you. Because you genuinely believe, if you genuinely believe something, you start noticing opportunities related to your beliefs. You start acting another way. So make sure there are right people next to you, because they will define what is your baseline and what you're gonna strive in this life for. Another thing is asking questions. I probably mentioned it. Always ask questions. Why do I think that way? What made me think in this way? How do I know about this? Be always open to look for truth, not protecting your ego. I know this feeling when you are arguing about something and then you realize that person is right. At least your inner voice says you this, even though you don't want to realize it. And you need to say like, all right, I was wrong. But this desire always to protect your ego, this is evil. You need to learn to find it, to fight it. Otherwise, for example, I will explain how it looks like. Here's your line. And here's the level you need to reach in order to achieve some greater things. To achieve some greater things, you need to have some wider mindset, to understand things better, to have certain qualities that you don't have nowadays. And in order to get them, you need to be open to learning. Because if you're not open to learning, you stay on the same level. All right? So there's that level. and you talk with someone and someone explains you that, oh, you're wrong about this and that, even if it's done in a negative way, and you realize, oh, I'm wrong. So you have two options. First, you're staying at the same level, protecting your ego, like, oh no, I'm right. I'm definitely right. Yes, I'm 100% I'm right. Yeah, I'm not gonna listen to those people. Great, you stay at the same level. You're not improving. But if you realize, well, I was wrong, I was mistaken, I was protecting a wrong assumption. Now I need to learn more about this, or now I need to change my opinion, you're growing a little. Because at this point, you are already open to change. You are already open to find truth instead of protecting your ego, which is crucial. And second, you just realize something, how it really works. And now, since this moment, you will be acting differently, having that piece of information. In general, I believe that reading books, listening to successful people, this is our incredible opportunities were bestowed upon nowadays. That incredible opportunities that are bestowed upon us nowadays. And we need to use them to our advantage. Because the more you listen, the more it creates artificial successful environment where people are like, oh, we're talking about this, oh, we're doing this, and you start thinking also about things that they talk, and then you start reflecting, and then you are having your own ideas, your own perspective. For example, for me, one of the things that I'm willing to share, I decided to set a line, like something in this life. Well, for me, I realized that more important will be what will be after this life, not in this life. Because I genuinely believe in God, I genuinely believe that we will be judged after this life, and there are a lot of things that point out that indirectly, of course, because it's not proven by science, but science cannot prove it. All right, it's obvious because science can interact with something that is measurable, with something that is, yeah, we can measure somehow. God is not measurable. God is omnipotent, right? And so there's a universe. It's been 30.7 billion years since our universe was created. It's been 8 billion years since our Earth was created. And it's been nearly 6 million years or something like that since people appeared on this universe. Meaning, people does not mean anything. In 6 million years, we're still living on this small planet. The closest star besides Sun, the closest star to us is 4.7 light years. It means that light, in order to see the condition of that star, we need to wait 4.7 years until light comes to Earth. Speed of light, 300,000 kilometers per second. Just, it's unfathomable, all right? It's unfathomable, this distance, this speed. That's crazy. And it's the closest star. The universe is massive. And we have the small Earth, small people. No matter what do we do, no matter what kind of wars occur on this universe, no matter does someone use nuclear bomb or not, everything we can destroy only plays to live for us, this Earth. We don't do anything in terms of universe. Universe will keep existing. Universe will still have all the stars and the rest of the planets. So it seems like our life seems to be like a test, especially including that we're given 100 years top if you are having a great life without any if you have a healthy life, eating properly, or like working out, all this stuff, you are lucky enough, you will live until 100 years. 100 years, it's nothing. In terms of universe, which appeared 30.7 billion years ago, 100 years is nothing. No matter what you do for someone in this life, you will die in 100 years ago. So it looks like a test. That's why I believe that God, there's God, in my opinion. If there is God, I should serve to God, right? That is what God wants us to do. That is what He said. That this is what is written in the book by God, in Quran. And one of the things is helping others, especially those in need, especially contributing in society. And this is something that I genuinely want to do. Even subconsciously, even how to say it, it's like inherited to strive for acknowledgement, to strive for success, to strive for something that will result in acclaim on the part of other people, right? So we want to get this acclaim. To get this acclaim, we need to achieve something, to contribute in this society. When you do a lot of positive things, you are having this acknowledgement because you bring something positive to other people, those people treat you positively. And in order to create something positive, something great in this life, one of the things I need is family. I hear a mosquito, it's a bad sign. One of the things that will actually matter for me is family, because my offspring will be able to contribute in this world even more than me. So the values I will not attach, but how it's called. The values I will make them follow, the way of living this life I will make them follow, will determine what will be after my death. Theoretically, it does not really matter what will be after my death, but I want to do my best. In order to do my best, I need to have a great spouse. I need to have a great significant other, wife, who also is passionate by something, who will be inspiring me a lot, you know. And in order to find a decent woman, I need to be a decent man. And to be a decent man, I need to respect myself. I need to achieve something, and I need to have my values and my principles, right? Because my fundament should be based, my fundament should exist. And so if I need to be a decent man, well, like, first of all, just I need to get rid of weakness, some kind of weakness, right? I need to like respect myself. What does it mean to respect yourself? To respect yourself is when you are saying you're gonna do this, you're doing this. It's when it's when you're willing to encounter fear because you know that you want to be best version of yourself for your family. And if you encounter fear, it makes you better. By and large, it makes you better. So That's why I started linking all the things that I want to achieve in this life, that I want, what kind of family I want to have for that family, what kind of spouse I need to get that spouse, what kind of person I need to be to attract the spouse, and everything is interconnected. And that's why I have this desire to achieve something, right? To do something more. I cannot be settled by scrolling. I cannot be settled by eating junk food to satisfy my quotidien, my daily life, because it's weakness. And if I'm weak, I won't be able to get a decent person next to me that I want to get. This is also mindset. This is also something I came up with. It doesn't really work, it doesn't necessarily work everything as I described, but I believe that it works that way. If I believe that it works that way, it makes me act in a certain way. And a certain way makes me better every day. So what is the conclusion? There's no objective reality. You shape this reality. You set preferences and you act according to those preferences. And you don't need to force yourself doing something for your future instead of wasting time. You just need to understand why you are doing this. You need to set priorities, set preferences. Not preference, yeah, like basically priorities, I would say. Alright, it's been such a long video though. I have exam tomorrow in 9 hours, so I should go to sleep now to have at least 7 hours of sleep. And yeah, more or less I expressed, I think, some valuable insights that I've got over the past 240 days. Obviously there are more concepts, ideas that I have in my mind, but this is just something the most important, and I think the most important I expressed at the beginning of the video. That's it. I genuinely appreciate everyone who stayed with me throughout the whole path. Today, nothing special happened. I spent time with my friend, I made a video. That doesn't matter. Today, it doesn't matter. Today, I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to provide my ideas. At least to be able to rewatch this video in the future, in a year, and to see was I right or wrong. I'm pretty sure I will return this channel. Definitely. I love this channel. This started my story since studying English, just in order to get in university to study in English. Then I got there. Due to getting that university, it opened a lot of opportunities to get to know a lot of people. Some people, like people whose mindset is incredible. I've never communicated with those people who I have nowadays next to me. That's the first thing. Another, a lot of opportunities. Every day you speak English, every day you work out, every day you keep on learning, every day you observe how the world works, and you understand, I need to move. Over the past year, that's crazy. Like, compared to me today, a year ago, that's really crazy to compare, and I'm glad I've got this huge difference, I would say, and I hope in a year I will be having an even bigger difference. That's so nice. I'm really glad I really finished it. Every day posting videos, every day keeping accountability, and probably tomorrow it will be, I will have this desire to record this video, I'm not gonna lie, but it will be already over. So I will return one day, in one way or another. I don't know what I will be recording, but I will return. Nowadays, I can be found in my Instagram, because I will be, during the entire summer, I will be recording Turkish videos, or maybe in a month I will decide to change my direction of recording videos, but I will keep on recording videos because I find it valuable for me. And yes, it is what it is. I feel like I'm saying bye to a person that I don't want to let go. Anyways, I do genuinely appreciate everyone who watched it, everyone who would support it by liking videos, by writing comments. I saw everything. And every time when I saw another like under my video, it would make me smile. Every time when I saw another comment, it would encourage me even more. So I do appreciate it, and we'll see how everything will work in the future. But that's it, and I hope I will see you in the next one.